training webinar for this week. And wow, what an incredible lineup of amazing women we have today. Look at the girl power on the screen, and we are so excited to have everyone. And we have 4 presenters today too. So this is the first time we've had 4 on the call. We just had too many choices, so we went, all right, let's do everyone today. So thank you everyone for jumping on. We have our newest and youngest Elite Pro 7, Robyn&Grace, with us. We've also got our dynamic Pro 6, Janelle James, with us. Thank you, Nell, for being here. We've also got one of our newest team members with us, and she's just doing incredible things with her business. So welcome to Pro 4, Vicky Jamieson. But first off, we'd like to invite this dynamic lady that she has just skyrocketed since she's joined our family here at LifeVantage. So we would love for us to hear her story and her journey since she's been not only in network marketing, but also whilst she's been here with our LifeVantage family. So please welcome Michelle Heatherley to the stage. Over to you, Michelle.
Thank you very much. I'm just going to share my screen. Thanks for having me. Oh, present. Oh, we're in the way. Oh, goodness. Okay. So, yes, I am Michelle. Oh, can you see that? No. Sorry, guys. Here we go. And I am in Auckland, New Zealand. There it is, my photos.
Yeah.
There we go. And I'm 32. I have a beautiful family, as you can see here. 2 beautiful girls, 18 months, well, a bit older than that now, and 4, which are full on. I realized after being in lockdown with them for what felt like forever. But they're gorgeous nonetheless. I'm really close with my parents and my sister who lives down the line. I've got a beautiful dog, which is my first baby, and an amazing husband. And I'm really, really happy and really driven, and I have a lot of things going on. But I actually wasn't always like this. I had a fabulous childhood, a really great childhood, loving parents, everything was good. But for some reason, one or the other, I'm not sure what it was, I ended up in an abusive relationship at the age of 14 with a guy that was 5 years older than me. And I was in that relationship for about 6 years. And the person that I was very different. I was damaged and broken, and I had no self-esteem. I had no confidence. And, thank goodness for my family and my friends that made me wake up to the reality of my life. Back then, I was 19 when I left that relationship, before I was going to move overseas with him, and who knows where I would be right now. But that wasn't the end of it. Obviously, leaving him wasn't the end of it. I had a lot of issues to work through, and it's actually still a battle every day to work through self-esteem issues. And actually, skip a few years, I won't go through my whole life story, but network marketing came into my life at a time where I was very self-destructive. I had met my husband by then. He's kind of saved me first from myself. And then Vicky, who you'll hear from soon, I met her. I'm a beauty therapist by trade, and so is she. And I met her when I was working at a salon in Auckland. And she introduced me to network marketing. It was with a different company back then. And it was something, I was kind of restless at the time. I was thinking about starting a salon. It was so out of my comfort zone, any of that. And I kind of looked into it, the salon thing, traditional business, and it was going to cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. And there's no guarantee that you make anything like that work. And I didn't have kids, me and my husband, who wasn't my husband at the time, but we were talking about kids. I was like, I can't commit to something to work my butt off, in a salon for this long when I didn't know that it was going to work. So I kind of just was like, well, I'll just live paycheck to paycheck. like most people do. That's all right. And that's when I met Vicky. And the idea of network marketing, you know, something that it was my own business, that I could impact hundreds of thousands of people if I wanted to around the world, that I could make as much money as I wanted. I got paid for my efforts, and something I could do around kids was really, really exciting. When I started, I didn't know what I was doing, obviously. I was not the most confident person. And I was planning a wedding, and I was doing a management course, and I was managing a salon. And my husband, actually, when I married him at the end of the year, was like, oh my gosh, you're lucky that I'm here, you crazy woman. But I just threw myself in, and it was the best thing that I could ever have done. I was mentored by an amazing lady. Vicky helped me as well, but I was mentored closely. We were both mentored closely by this amazing lady who is a little bit scary and still scares me. And she introduced me to personal development. I remember the first thing that she got me to, or that I listened to on my stereo, my CD, was Jim Rohn. And I listened to it on the way home. It took me about an hour and a half to drive home. It was a Friday afternoon, you know, there was heaps of traffic, and I listened to it back to back, and I got home and I was actually in tears. It makes me want to cry now. And I just said to my husband, you know, we don't have to live like this. You know, it's not the blowing of the wind that determines where we go in life. It's the set of our sails, and we don't have to live like this. And he was like, who is this person? What have you done with Michelle? You've changed. It's like, no, I have grown. And that was the new normal for me. Personal development, you know, really, really huge in my journey. My mentor taught me that, yes, you have excuses, and maybe they're valid, but we don't have excuses here, you know. Don't be a victim to your life. And I, over the period of that 5 years, faced my fears. I, you know, looked into the fear and just did it anyway. I decided, you know, nothing could stop me. I remember, like, I'm here speaking with you guys right now. I've actually spoken on the stage in front of about 1,000 people. But when I first started all that time ago, the first time I had to speak, tell my story, I was in a room of 6 people, and I froze and I started crying, and my face was bright red, and it was terrifying. But I did a little bit more and a little bit more, and it just got easier and easier and easier. Early on in my journey, I went to convention, the international convention for my previous company, which was massive for me. I traveled by myself. That in itself was just like so scary, but I did it. The convention was amazing. Oh my goodness. Events in general are just amazing. That year I saw Tony Robbins speak, which changed my life. And, you know, it was really, really life-changing. All of that whole journey. So I had success with this other company early on, some success with this other company. And a lot of things changed. You know, the product wasn't unique. The product was expensive. The compensation plan changed. The culture changed. And I was kind of not actively looking, but I was in the looking zone. When, you know, I found out about LifeVantage, that somebody came and spoke to me about LifeVantage, and I kind of thought, well, there's a group of us, and Vicky included, this is too good to be true. This can't be real. So I looked into it. This was in November last year, and it wasn't too good to be true. You know, it was completely legit, everything. So in January, I went over to Gold Coast for the event, which was just amazing, you know, and oh my goodness, everything was confirmed, you know, this company, this culture, everything just feels 100% right. I love the product. I love that it's unique. I love that there's studies to back up all the claims. I love the pay, which is, you know, nice to be actually earning money. And I just absolutely love the people. So I have had the best 4 months I really wanted to tell you my story because, you know, you might look and think, oh, you know, she's gone Pro 4 in 4 months. But I've had a massive build up to this. You know, I've hit the ground running with this because I've had to work on myself so much over the last 8 years. And it's 100% worth it. Oh my gosh, I would never change it for anything. But yeah, I'm definitely in the right place now. Some things that I did that I think are different, you know, being with LifeVantage and being with the last company, is as Eric Worre talks about, I made a decision to become a network marketing professional. You know, I wasn't faking it. I wasn't not going to make that call because it was hard and send an email instead. I wasn't going to have, you know, a whole weekend off where I don't think about it. I decided to be a professional. And, you know, the belief that I have not only in network marketing, but in this product and this company, because I see it work, it makes it really, really easy to be professional about it. I do personal development every single day. I read and I listen to something every single day, no matter what. And that was drummed in to me for years. And I would have days off, but I do not have any days off now. I'm consistent. And I know lots of people talk about tracking, but I finally am tracking, even though I've got notebooks all around me right now sitting here. I track things and, you know, make sure I am keeping consistent. You know, I'm my own boss. I'm the only one I can hold myself accountable, and I definitely do. I think a really big part of all of this is to be teachable, and it's actually quite a skill I've discovered after, you know, growing a team in a short amount of time and dealing with lots of different people. Being teachable is actually quite hard for some people. So to be teachable and just to do everything that you're kind of told to do by your mentor or by, you know, people that you're listening to or things that you're reading is just the number one thing that you can do to push yourself forward in this business. And as I was talking about before, saying yes to every single opportunity and then just working out how to do it afterwards. Like today, Claire said, can you talk? And I was like, yep, sure. And then it wasn't until maybe, I don't know, yesterday or the day before, I was like, oh, what am I doing? That's right. I'm actually, you know, speaking in front of all these people. So just saying yes to every opportunity. And yeah, it's not an overnight success, as you guys all know, but even, you know, money aside, everything aside, the person that you become, the person that I have become after my journey is just the biggest reward. The biggest reward. It makes me a better wife and a better daughter and a better mum. And it's just, yeah, so, so rewarding. So that's my story. I'm going to hand you over to Vicky now. Here we go.
Thanks, Michelle. That is awesome. I'm going to, my name is Vicky Jamieson. I'm going to share my screen, and I'm probably a little bit like Michelle in that. Please don't look at my tabs because it will give you OCD. Just a little warning here. I should have cleared that up beforehand. So I am going to go into here. When Claire asked me if I would share my journey to Pro 4, and I started the same time in LifeVantage as what Michelle did. So we both joined in, we went to the event in the Gold Coast and then we were in kind of thing. But one of the things that was really important to me was the culture and having the right ethos. And I remember thinking at that event, gosh, this is like so different from what I had experienced in lots of different arenas, but to have a company that seemed so authentic and open and friendly and real, talking about the struggles and the you know, what was so great and where we could go was really key to me, because I had been and I have been in business for a long time. So this is my why. So a little bit about me before I share why or how I got to Pro 4. My biggest why is my family. So, and I think as mums you can, you know, relate. So I'm 53, I'm 54 in a couple of weeks actually. So my journey, why I started my business in the first place, which I did when I was 25, and I decided that, and it has not changed. And LifeVantage now fits within that and gives me more options and is going to be my growth to where I'm going to next. But it's because of my family. So I didn't have kids when I decided that I wanted to move away from what I was doing. I was a completely different role. And then I retrained to do beauty therapy. And the reason was because I wanted to do something that I really enjoyed. But I did not want to sacrifice getting good income, because my previous occupation, I was working shift work and I was making good money in my early 20s. So I didn't want to give that up. I retrained as a beauty therapist and then later trained as a holistic aromatherapist. And so I wanted to bring that passion of health and wellness, which I'd always had. I'd always, trained and done ballet and done sport. And I wanted to almost prove people wrong, that you could get older and still keep doing all the things that you could do when you were younger. That was kind of my philosophy. And every time I kind of would hit this brick wall, like, oh, you can't do that because you're getting older now. And I'm like, yeah, you can. And I'm going to show you that you can. So part of that was when I had my kids, people said, well, you can't, have your business and have kids. And I'm like, yes, I can. And so I worked from home and juggled, basically. What came from that was that when I sort of turned 40-ish, I said, I can't do this anymore, but I don't want to succumb to what everyone is saying. So there must be a way to work smarter and not give up the love of my work, which was just totally beauty therapy at that time, and, having kids and having my life around the kids. And so that's when I discovered network marketing, because I was looking, and I didn't know it was network marketing that I was looking for, but I was looking for a way to leverage my time more efficiently so that my income wasn't capped. I was fully booked. I was working 10-hour days every day, and I thought, I can't go on like this. So I wanted to kick back a little bit, still work full time, but use my time smarter. And so that's what led me into network marketing to start with, to really expand or share my knowledge really on what I did know, and obviously learn heaps more in that journey, so that I could do, and now I do triathlon, and that one at the bottom there is us traveling to Spain last year with a group of people when we moved across to Australia. So fitting in lifestyle was really, really important to me. So that was the start of my journey, and I was with my previous company for about 13 years, and I saw this opportunity, and I was actually really unsettled where I was. So when this came up, this opportunity, I initially obviously pushed it away. Well, I think we all do that, don't we? We kind of think, no, I'm fine. And then it kind of made me think. I'm a bit like Michelle. I do personal development every day. And so when you're on that growth journey, sometimes you realize that, you've perhaps stagnated, or you've got to a certain level, and I wasn't wanting to settle for that again. And I was wanting that next growth phase. So for me, my vision is to work on natural ways that we can holistically help our bodies with that aging process. And it totally fits with my holistic philosophy of, our skin reflects the health of our body. And of course, I'm getting older, so it's more apparent as things start getting to be aches and pains. I'm like, hang on a minute, let's look. So I was kind of looking for something, but I just didn't know what again. So a little bit like Michelle, I came into LifeVantage, and I already had a lot of things really set up. So I already did personal development. I knew where I was heading. So I had my vision. And so with this company, my vision is to share this product range. I think the products are phenomenal and are really going to change the way we see nutrition. And so I want to be able to be proactive in Melbourne here to bring that to health professionals, because that could totally change their patients and clients and impact a lot more people just by getting it out there. So Charlotte really inspired me, and I thought, this is amazing. And also having always been an entrepreneur, I think that was instilled in me from my youth. My parents had their own business. So I think that was kind of like a little hidden driver. Like, I want to do this. I want that next challenge. The other thing that was really important to me moving forward with LifeVantage was teamwork and I'd always done stuff on my own and been very independent. And there's a lot of backstory to that, but basically I didn't want to do this on my own again. So in my last company, I ended up doing a lot of stuff on my own, and it didn't work. Just like working in your own business, you can have staff and you can have all that stuff, but ultimately you're the driver. I wanted to share my vision with people who wanted to come on the journey with me. And so that was one of the really key elements that I am, and I was still focused on, is creating the tribe of people that I want to work with and that we want to take Melbourne on, kind of thing. And the third thing is adding value. So every time I do a touch point to a client or someone I'm prospecting, is adding value to their life in any way I can. So consistency with who I connect with, and the follow-up scenario of just going back to same people all the time, because it takes time. We forget how much we know in the industry and products and health, and I've been in the industry for a long time, so I have to always remind myself they don't know necessarily what I know, so just pass on one little tidbit. So that was my adding value step that I think has really held a lot of customers for me in place, and that's a big part of how I'm growing my business. And the third thing is income generating activity. So there's no amount of vision and trusting in the universe unless it's backed by action. You can put it out there and know where you're going, but unless you walk towards it and do the action steps, you can't. The universe doesn't know what you want. So doing that in conjunction has been, and I've probably done it far more, had a lot more connects than I did ever in my last network marketing company. So numbers, I'm not so great at tracking. I have to get better at that. Basically doing whatever Charlotte told me, because I said, I want to have what you want. And she said, this is what you got to do. Like, okay, if I want what you want, I've got to do the same. So that's my little words of wisdom, is know where you're going, know what you have to offer, and that will grow. And one step in front of the other. It's a bit of a journey. So thanks, guys.
Thank you so much, Vicky. I'm so happy that, oh, there we are. You see now? I'm a bit wary of my screen. It keeps stopping on me. But thank you so much, ladies. Look, we are so happy that you said yes, not only for today. So sorry I put you both on the spot, but I'm so grateful that you both said yes. And I love that, Michelle. You just say yes and then work it out later. And, you know, she messaged me the other day. She goes, so what am I actually saying and doing? But I think it's, you know, you're both building such an incredible business, and I love that you've got the consistency. As you said, you're working on personal development every single day, which I know is incredibly important. But I think also, you know, your words of saying you've been in this company for 4 months, but it's been years of training to get to this point. So when you said yes to this opportunity with our family, we're very happy that you joined the LifeVantage family. You have been working on what you can do to get here. So, and I know that teamwork is very, very important to you. So I guess one last question to you ladies is, I guess a lot of people say, you know, I want to bring like-minded people to my tribe. So how do you connect with people that you want in your tribe? What's one thing from both of you, just real quick? I know that's our favorite saying here, real quick.
Real quick.
Real quick. What's one thing that you both do to make sure that you're attracting the right people into your tribe? We'll start with you first, Michelle.
I think being the person that you want in your tribe is number one. You know, like just being that person, because, you know, as they say, you can say whatever you like, but they're going to do what you do, and they're going to be who you're being. So I think that's the big point. Act like you want them to act in your team.
Yeah, fantastic. And for you, Vicky?
Yeah, I'm a definite believer in you have to be authentic and be your best self. And that's sometimes not always easy. But also when you see people who are displaying attributes that you really love, is acknowledging that in them and then creating a connection. So being authentic within yourself, but reaching out to others who are being, you know, authentic in them. And then you usually alike. And so that creates that tribe.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, thank you so much, ladies. Really appreciate your insight, and we just look forward to where this month and beyond takes you both. I know there's big goals, so watch this space, everyone. I know they're onto it. So thank you again. Now we would love to invite a lady that we're all very familiar with. She's one of our first pioneers with LifeVantage here in Australia, and she is incredible in building a really great business for LifeVantage and her team. So we'd like to welcome Janelle James. Over to you,
Claire.
Janelle.
How you going? Can you hear me?
Can hear you.
All right, let's do this. Hey everyone, thank you so much for having me on here. I appreciate this chance to do this. Now, Claire asked me what I wanted to do, and I was like, I don't even know what I could talk about. I feel like I have so much in my head that I've talked about before, and it's always going back, and you feel like what you're going to say is maybe repeating a lot of what you've said before. But then I was reminded by our beautiful leader, Kerry Christie, that, you know, we need to hear this stuff over and over again, and we need to keep practicing and learning this stuff. So sometimes there always is extra information that you hear that you may not have heard last time, or when you hear it, you know, this time you might hear it in a different way, and it resonates in a different way as well. So anyway, I'm going to talk about how I've built a global business. My business started global very early on. So I've been in the company for it's 5 years this month. Actually, at the end of this month, it's 5 years. Oh my God. And I'm not even an elite yet. How crazy is that? I look at that and go, whoa. But the journey is the journey, right? And I've enjoyed it the whole way through. And I absolutely love everything that I've learned along the way. This is my first network marketing company, and I knew nothing about network marketing before. And I did this around my kids being at home with me full time when I very first started as well. So not only was it a challenge for me, it was also something I absolutely loved and have always poured my heart into. And I know that this is going to be my forever home. It always resonated with me so much that network marketing was for me, because I've never liked mainstream businesses. And I'm someone, obviously, who most people know never liked mainstream, because I used to drive trucks in coal mining. I didn't do, you know, typical jobs, that they just weren't for me. So I went and did something a little bit different for myself, just to get experience and have some fun, and also wanted to get ahead in life with that type of income that it created. And of course, you know, that type of income is very exciting. And so when I saw that you could do that through network marketing while being around your kids at home and doing it in the health industry, which is what I've always loved, I jumped at it straight away. I saw a presentation. 3 days later, I was in the business before I'd even tried the product, because the science and the health side of this and the information just jumped at me straight away, and I resonated with it very well. So because of that, I built a global business very quickly. And I didn't do that by knowing people in other countries myself. I wasn't someone, I wasn't someone that knew other people in countries overseas. I didn't even know anyone in New Zealand. Like, how crazy is that? I'm from Tasmania, so I'm a little Taswegian who didn't really know the world that well, other than what I knew from Tassie and Queensland, you know, where we traveled with our family and things like that. And so for me to find people globally, everyone was like, how has this happened? And so it was all about the power of knowing people that knew people. And I've personally enrolled people in Canada, USA, UK, and New Zealand myself. But that came from those people that lived either here or that knew someone that put me in that referral side and gave me a name. And so I am super grateful for that. And my business is now in 11 countries. And the reason I just share that sort of stuff is only to show you what's possible for you if you haven't built a global team yet. So I'll give you an example of this. What happened in the very first, sort of 15 months, 16 months of my business, I had enrolled a Canadian. Now, this happened because I had a friend who had a nanny that was from Canada, and that nanny and I used to hang out during the day because obviously my friend was at work. The nanny didn't know anyone. I said, I'll go and introduce myself because I'm a big social butterfly. So I loved that I could go and see my friend's kids, but also introduce myself to make this new nanny that was from overseas feel comfortable. And her mum that we would talk to on Zoom when we would be, getting together at the home when she was looking after the kids, I'd go over there and we'd talk to her mum in Canada, and her mum was the one that signed up in my business. So that's what started my Canadian team. Now that person, she's not overly active at the moment, but she signed up another person and another one and another one under there. So we had 3 in the line that were the ones that were growing the business the fastest. And they are what grew my Canadian team to what it is now. And so that just shows the power of me knowing a nanny that came from Canada that grew a Canadian team. That's how that happened. And then my friend, after 12 months, the same friend had another nanny from Canada, and this nanny was a nurse, and she didn't want to go back to nursing. She loved that she was doing, the nanny job or the au pair job in Australia, but she knew that when she went back to Canada, she didn't want to go back to nursing. So she was interested in what I had. And that was a different Canadian leg that I then created from these 2 nannies. And how crazy is that it's happened that way? And now that Canadian, that was the nurse, moved to the USA, and she now has a huge USA team under her as well. I also have enrolled a USA distributor myself on a different leg. So that person was someone who came to me after watching me on social media for 3 years, who came and said, I've been in network marketing before, I've been watching you for 3 years, and I really feel like I want to learn more about what you do because I resonate with your videos and your posts and those sorts of things. So that was someone who came to me from the USA in that leg as well. And then we have my UK distributor who found me on a post in a personal development group from a YouTube video that I did. And it's like, how does this even happen? And I'm only telling you this to show you how this can happen. So there was a UK distributor that found me through my videos. And this is the power of social media. It's the power of videos and of YouTube and getting yourself out there and branding yourself. And you will attract your perfect ideal avatar, as we call it, or target audience from just doing those sorts of things on social media. Also, I have a New Zealand leg, which happened from one of my friends that I'd met on social media who became a distributor